Hi, this is Ellie Fishman, and welcome to our latest podcast. And this one is on Wednesday, not on Thursday. That's because I'm in Orlando, and you could see that I'm here for our CBT, our 35th annual meeting. You can see it's very sunny. Look how bright it is behind me. We're at the Swan Hotel, and you can kind of see if I move funny, there's the dolphins behind us. You see I'm in my bathroom, I'm in my room. Okay, I'll take the bathroom off. You can see that I'm at Disney because I have an official Mickey Mouse thing, which is next to my alligator. So it's a alligator mouse. And just a few things. First of all, welcome everybody. And I want to thank everyone for their kind words. Till Lily figured out that yesterday was our 20th anniversary, not since we started the website, but sort of we started the website. We got the name CTisus, and legend has it, since I'm the one who came up with the name, I really wanted something like Toys R Us, because Toys R Us was kind of the company those days, and I figured they would sue my ass off if I said CTRUS, so it was CTisus, which was kind of a play on Toys R Us. The good news is CTisus is live and well going forward into our 21st year, and Toys R Us is toast. So life goes on. And we do also thank everybody who's been supporting the site for all these years, and particularly GE Healthcare, Amersham, whatever they were called before, have always been great supporters of us. And you can imagine the cost involved with running a website. And since we're charging nothing and we're selling nothing, it's not a great business model. And we do have to pay salaries to people, since this is not a charitable organization. But it is a great, we do take great pride in what we've done, building the website, and then building everything from the website on down. And so, we have the Facebook things, we have Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest and all our apps on the App Store and everything else. So I think we're doing a lot of things, and we're constantly looking at ways of doing new things and doing things better. So I think that's all very exciting, and we look forward to keeping that up for at least another 20 years. Now, I'm not sure what the internet will be like in 20 years. You'll probably have some implantable thing in your earlobe, and you won't even have to connect up with anything. So I get a feeling that's where things are going to be, 20 some odd years from now. But I think at the end of the day, whatever changes, we will change accordingly. And I think we take great pride in the fact that we are constantly changing. Remember when we started this, CT was, 20 years ago was 99, 64 slice was coming on board. So, we've started from the beginning. And so that also makes the point about time. Here's our brochure for tomorrow's meeting. And many of you are coming. Not enough of you are coming. We'll get back to that in a second. It's interesting, if I block the light there, it actually, you can see me better. But this is our 35th annual meeting. About 32 of them are in Orlando. We had one of them in Fort Lauderdale, our first meeting. Then we had a couple in Miami Beach when Miami was falling apart. Now Miami's great, and it's too expensive for us to go back there. And 32 years we've been in Orlando. Many of you know, for probably about 15 or even 20 years, we were at the Peabody Hotel, which is a wonderful hotel. When we were at the Peabody, the convention center wasn't built. The guy who owned the Peabody, that family, donated the money for the convention center, so he was a genius. Unfortunately, the Peabody no longer exists. It's a beautiful second building, but it's now a Hyatt Regency. So the Peabody, the ducks have gone out to pasture, but we are trying to build and continue to build the meeting. So this meeting here, which we will begin, it'll be a terrific course. And if you are in the area, we are flying down. You can see for me, it's very, it's very sunny out. Let me have some coffee. Very sunny, 80 degrees, no humidity, just beautiful. No mosquitoes, no bugs. If you don't go near the pool, near the water, there's no alligators or anything, so it's not a problem. So we have Linda Chu from Hopkins, Jan Fritz from Hopkins, Karen Horton, Stefan Zimmerman, and then Marilyn Siegel from Mallinckrodt. So I think we have a great meeting. We also have hands-on training, Tony Cook, Lauren Gorin will be training you how to use cinematic rendering or how to just use the workstation. And whatever type of workstation you have, this will be a way of being trained to really do it better. So I think that part's very exciting. And so there are really, really great opportunities, a lot of good lectures. It starts 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, a really good breakfast at 7 a.m. 8 a.m. is protocol optimization for body CT, what you need to know. And I was just putting the final touches on that lecture when I stopped to do this. Now, I will tell you one other reason you should come to our courses, besides the fact we do run the best courses, is that the profits from the course help support CTisus. It's very simple. So that money, if we make a profit, which is harder to do these days, company support has decreased, the expenses have increased. We've tried to manage it the best we can, but it's not cheap to run a meeting, and we don't want to run a meeting in the Motel 6 and give you a Dunkin' Donuts for breakfast. So we try to make it a good meeting in a nice place. We have great rates, like the rate here for Disney was something like $229 or something like that, $249. But if you go online at Expedia, the rate was $499. So it's half the cost. Wonderful place. Still time. We have some seats left. If it gets crowded, somebody can have my seat. I'll stand in the back of the room. So what else did I want to talk about? So I want to talk about that. And so for CME courses, if it's a little bit late for you, we go to Nashville, May 17th to 19th at the Gaylord. Should be a lot of fun there. And I am trying to figure out what to do with CME. It's, again, getting tighter. I'm thinking about Las Vegas in November. Then the question is, should I have a meeting again next February? I didn't do Super Bowl weekend. I would never do that. I didn't do the President's Weekend for the first time because I thought maybe it seems that President's Weekend things are too crowded and the parks are too crowded and the expenses for the airfare is too much. So we did it a week before, but if people can tell me, do they want us to have an Orlando meeting? Will they come? What weekend is best? I can move it to January. I can move it to March. But we need to know, and we need your advice and your help. And if there's anything we can do differently, again, we'd love your advice and any help you can give us. So just let me know on that. What else should we speak about? Well, I think, the CME courses, just I think I've spoken about this before, but let me mention it again. I speak at a lot of courses around the country during the year, or a reasonable amount. I have to work, obviously. But I've noticed in most courses, the attendance is way down. I know money is tight. People don't want to travel. I think, if you want to do education, you can do things online. You can do things remotely. But I think there's nothing like being at a meeting with other people, getting the feel of the process, getting the feel of the land, that I think is very, very important. So I would recommend, if you don't want to come to our meeting, I won't take it personally, but you should go to someone's meeting somewhere, sometime. I think if not, you're going to find out that CME is only going to be left to like big societies like the RSNA and the ACR and the Rankin-Ray. And I think those society meetings are just really terrific. SAR, I should mention, Thoracic Society, SCBT. So there are a lot of meetings you could do, but I think there's something about smaller meetings. I think there's something that's very valuable. And I think if you come, and our meeting is a great choice, you're also supporting CTisus. And again, if you want CTisus to grow and blossom and do all sorts of creative new things, you're going to have to help support us. So that's just a pitch. Now, let's see, what am I working on? So I have 10 talks at this meeting. So I am working on a bunch of new things. So you're going to hear them on some of the talks you will hear on CTisus eventually. I've been looking at cinematic rendering, sort of a virtual topogram, looking at skin, looking at soft tissues, a way of doing that better. We're putting a lot of work into deep learning. I think many of you know about it. I've spoken about the Felix project. One of the things you can see on CTisus, our website, is we have this really strong, on the front page, AI. We're putting up critical articles, some very scientific, but some less scientific, helping you understand from definitions to basic articles, to discussion, to our lectures, to images, to articles. We're building it out. NVIDIA is helping us. They've given me access to all of their content, and I'm choosing content that's appropriate. And we will continue to update that content all of the time. So I think it's really critical Now let's see. You, Scott, made a point. I'm at HIMSS next week, which is in Orlando, which got my travel and education dollar for the quarter. I know, but HIMSS, whatever. You should come here, and then you could have stayed for HIMSS. HIMSS is down the road. HIMSS is a good meeting on computers and stuff like that. I think it's at the convention center, if I'm not mistaken, but I know it's in Orlando. Usually it's around President's Weekend. I know when we work with Harris, we would often go to the HIMSS meeting because they were one of the big presenters at the HIMSS meeting. So that part's kind of interesting. What else are we looking at? We are looking, I am giving a talk next week, which will also be a Facebook Live for Image Wisely about CT and the pregnant patient. Image Wisely is a really great website, very critical to everybody, done by the RSNA and the ACR, really working together. It's a very important site in trying to show that we are very cognizant of the importance of radiation dose and minimizing dose and maximizing quality so that all of our patients understand that we take this very seriously. So it's very important to us. I'll be speaking about the topic of how do you manage the pregnant patient who needs an imaging study? What should the discussion be? What do we tell our referring physicians? What do we tell our patients? You know, what should we be doing? What's the right thing to do? Obviously, you could say, well, never do CT or never do X-ray. Then you could be realistic and say you need to do what you need to do when you need to do it. But the question is, when do you need to do it? And when can you do something else? So for example, I'll say that if a patient was in a car accident and you're worried about internal trauma, no one's going to argue about not doing a CT. That becomes mother comes first, which is always the rule anyway. The mother's life is the most critical thing. But then we go from there to balancing right lower quadrant pain, left upper quadrant pain. What is it we do? You do an ultrasound. Maybe it's correct. Maybe you're not certain. Maybe should you do an MR? But is that going to help? Or should you do a CT? How do you minimize the dose? How do you maximize the information? How do you do everything correctly? And then what do you tell a patient? What's the risks involved? What's the risk reward? Patients are always very sensitive, and rightly so, and we need to be informing our patients of the right answers. And I'll be speaking about that, and perhaps what I'll do is some later date, I'll come back and do that on CTisus. I know some of it Dr. Mahesh has spoken about on CTisus, and he's written some stuff. I'll also refer to the ACR guidelines on radiation and the pregnant patient, which is about a 20-ish page manual. You can look online, you could see it, and I'll refer to it. It's something else, that you need to be looking at. Now let's see, we got a few minutes left. Are there any questions? So you, Scott, is trying to make me feel better, told me he had to go to HIMSS. It wasn't his choice. He was forced to go. Okay, I'll believe you. Don't let it happen again. Let's see what else. I wrote some other stuff down. One thing, just a couple questions we do have. If there's any specific topics people want us to lecture on, I am looking at some outside speakers. So for example, besides myself, I'm going to have Linda Chu, when we come back, speak about some of the aortic emergencies she's speaking about and the postoperative aorta. So we are going to have a number of additional talks. I think, Steve Rowe has given some talks on the site as well. So I think it's very, very good. You, Scott, mentions coronary artery topics. And so that's probably reason, I think we've done some of that, but we can do more of that. And maybe I'll ask Stefan Zimmerman. And I think, let me look at my brochure here, Stefan Zimmerman. Stefan's speaking about, where is he speaking about? Pearls and pitfalls of cardiovascular imaging. So that might be a good thing for him to speak about. So we will do that as well. Other than that, I thought I would just make you feel bad that, it's very sunny. I would have preferred, like it's 81 degrees, that this would have been last week when it was 5 degrees. And then people really get annoyed that you went to 81 degrees and they're freezing their butts off. But yesterday in Baltimore, it was 61 degrees. It was almost as warm in Baltimore as it was down in Orlando. And I know it's going to change and everything. But I think everybody yesterday forgot about the global freezing and went back to global warming. So I guess, it's the ups and downs. And our friends in Chicago, I think it was 40 degrees, which is like 80 degrees more than it was last week. So Things constantly do change. I will say that we did have something worthwhile looking at. There's a very good article in JACR. It's an article on how do you compare radiology and learning, deep learning, to driverless cars. That was just published. I think also we had a wonderful speaker last week, Keith Grossman from Bloomberg. Just a tremendous talk about content and how they're really rethinking the process of Bloomberg. And Bloomberg is always thinking ahead. Hopefully he's thinking ahead of running in 2020. I know he's thinking about it. The question is, will he do it? I don't know. Nobody knows, but we shall see. I think one of the things we have some really good speakers coming up over the next few months. Next one's on the 26th of February, then on the 14th of March, 23rd of April, 10th of May. We have tremendous speakers on a range of topics, and that's always at 5 o'clock. It's variable days. I can post the information if people are interested or give me a call. And with that, I don't see any other questions besides you, Scott. And, oh yes, by the way, notice who won the Super Bowl. We didn't get the score right, but if you were a betting person, which we aren't, you would have bet New England. New England won by 10. The spread was 3, so you would have won very easily. New England did prove why thinking and working hard and planning and having really smart people is critical, because year in and year out, in an era of mediocrity, in an era of harmonization, in an era where everybody is the same, in an era where everybody is lemmings, New England stands out. And when we practice radiology, we want to be the New England Patriots of radiology. We want to be at the top of our game every day, every week, and every year. And with that, wish you a great day. And here, I'll move out of the way. You can see some sunshine. I'm in the Swan. That's the dolphin over there. And have a great day.